All right, today we are decoding the secret language of nonverbal communication. And our guide, a former FBI counterintelligence agent. We're going to learn how to read all those silent signals people are broadcasting all the time. So let's kick things off with a pretty wild fact. Scientific studies have shown that a full 50% of people, that's half of us, if they're really focused on a task, will completely miss a man in a gorilla suit walking right in front of them. It's true. So here's the thing. If we can miss something as obvious as a gorilla, just imagine what else we're missing. Every single day, there's this constant stream of information, a whole other language really, being broadcast by everyone we interact with. And most of us are completely blind to it. So, how do we start seeing this invisible language? Well, we have to adopt what our guide calls the first commandment of observation. You have to consciously fight that blindness. It's about making a real effort to see the world as it actually is, not just how we expect it to be. And our guide for this is Joe Navarro. He actually learned this language out of pure necessity. First as a young immigrant, just trying to figure out his new classmates, and then later, he honed that skill as an FBI agent, cracking these high-stakes cases just by reading the people in the room. Okay, so let's get into the really juicy stuff. The secret to understanding all these nonverbal cues? Well, it isn't about trying to analyze someone's face to catch a lie. No, the real secret is hiding in our brain, specifically in our ancient, incredibly honest, and super powerful limbic brain. You see, the limbic system is millions of years old. It's not built for complex thought or social niceties. Its only job is to react to the world, right now, in real time, to keep us safe. It is 100% hardwired for survival, and because of that, it is always, always truthful. And here's the key distinction you have to get. Our thinking brain, the neocortex, is what we use for language, for planning, and this is important, for deception. It can absolutely tell a lie. But the limbic brain, it can't. It's purely reflexive. Its responses are automatic, they're immediate, and they are always a truthful snapshot of how we genuinely feel in that moment. So how does this honest brain actually work? Well, it governs 3 universal responses to anything it sees as a threat: freeze, flight, or fight. Picture a doorbell ringing late at night. What happens? Everyone in the room instantly freezes. That's the limbic brain taking over. Flight isn't just running away. It can be as subtle as turning your feet toward an exit. And a modern fight, that can just be a heated argument. These 3 reactions, they're the bedrock of all nonverbal behavior. Okay, so we've got freeze, flight, and fight. That might sound a little complicated to track, right? But here's the good news. We can simplify all of these reactions into one single powerful framework that makes decoding this language so much easier. This right here is your magic decoder ring. Your only job as an observer isn't to figure out if someone is lying. It's just to spot whether they're showing signs of comfort or discomfort. Are they at ease? Or are they feeling some kind of stress? That is the only question that matters. So here's how it plays out. When the limbic brain detects a threat, say a really tough question in an interview, it immediately registers discomfort. In response, it sends a signal to the body to perform what are called pacifying behaviors. It's basically the brain telling the body, hey, calm down, soothe yourself. And here are some of the classics. We do these things completely unconsciously to self-soothe. Men will often touch their necks, which actually stimulates nerves that slow the heart rate down. You might see someone rubbing their hands on their thighs. They call that leg cleansing, or just fiddling with a tie or a necklace. All of these are incredibly reliable signs that a person is feeling some kind of stress or discomfort. Now for the really practical part. Where on the body should we be looking to spot these comfort and discomfort tells most reliably? Let's start with the most honest place of all. For millions and millions of years, way before we had complex language, our survival literally depended on our legs and feet reacting instantly to threats. A snake in the grass, unstable ground. They had to react long before our thinking brain could even catch up and process the danger. And that brings us to a huge insight. Our feet are the most honest part of our body. Think about it. Since we were kids, we're taught to manage our facial expressions for social harmony. Put on a happy face, right? But has anyone ever told you to control your feet? Nope. They're governed by that honest limbic brain, and they pretty much never lie. This is a perfect story from Navarro's work. He's watching a poker player who has a winning hand. His face is a perfect, stoic mask, but under the table, his feet were giving him away. When people are genuinely happy or confident, they show what he calls happy feet. It's this gravity-defying behavior that just leaks their true positive feelings. Okay, let's move on up the body. Our limbic brain's number one job, its prime directive, is to protect our vital organs. And where are they? All in our torso. So when we feel threatened or insecure or just uncomfortable with a topic, we will instinctively shield our torso. Look at this example from an actual interview. People will use anything they can get their hands on, pillows, their own crossed arms, a laptop, to create a barrier when they feel vulnerable. It can even be a really subtle move, like adjusting a cufflink, which is just a way to bring one arm across the body for protection. All right, so you've got some really powerful tools now to spot these tells. But, and this is a big but, before you go out and start reading everyone in the room, there are a few golden rules you absolutely have to follow to do this effectively and, just as important, responsibly. This is so important. You cannot jump to conclusions based on just one gesture. Seeing someone cross their arms or tap their foot, by itself, it tells you nothing. It's like hearing a single word out of context. You have to look for the whole sentence, the bigger picture. So, how do you see that bigger picture? It all comes down to this three-step process. First, always consider the context. Second, don't rely on one gesture. Look for clusters of behaviors that all seem to point in the same direction. And third, and this is absolutely critical, you have to establish a baseline. You need to know how someone acts when they're totally relaxed before you can accurately spot the signals of discomfort. By just shifting your focus from only the words people say to this invisible language of the body, you unlock this richer, deeper, and way more honest layer of human communication. So the real question is, what will you start to see now that you know how to look?